What's up, everyone? Raylo from Raylo Vapes here. I know it's been a long time. I missed you guys. It's been well over a month. As you can see, some things have changed. I now live in Arizona instead of California, but that's besides the point. I don't want to talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about that in a later video. What we're here to talk about today is, of course, the first look at the Zephyrus from Youde. This is Youde's first venture. Hey, you gonna clear up? Probably not. Whatever. We'll go into up close mode. You'll see it all up close and personal and clear. But this is their first venture into the sub tank market. And as you can see, it is quite the sexy little thing. Plus, with those blue O-rings, it matches all nice and pretty with the iStick 50 in blue. Isn't that pretty? It's a nice little setup. That little mini rifle drip tip. But, let me go ahead and take a vape on this. This is a 0.3 ohm head, and I have it at 50 watts. So, as you can see, just like all the other tanks that have been coming out recently from Youde, it definitely has tons of vapor coming off of this. And it's a unique design. It's something that is different. It's not the same kind of heads that you're used to seeing. It's not the same sort of like shape and design, different style of airflow. Everything about this is unique in its design and functionality. So I guess before I go any further, of course, this is just a quick look, so this is not going to be a full in-depth review. I've only had this for this is what, third day I've had it, or is it second day? Well, I guess it's third day because it's well after midnight now. Been trying to figure out on my new laptop how to get these microphone, camera, and everything set up. Thanks, Windows 8. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive down up close. We'll take a good look at it. I'll show you all the parts that come with it. I'll show you the unique RTA deck that comes with it that I'm liking at the moment, but there's still some things. I've only built it once and I had a little problem, but that's besides the point. First look, let's go ahead and dive down up close. All right, you guys, so here we are. Here's the package that it comes in. Not used to seeing a package like this from Youde. Definitely different from what they normally do, but you can see here, Zephyrus, that's the name of the tank. You have your little authentication, little check thing going on there, and on the back you kind of have your, not really instructions, well, I guess they're instructions. They kind of show you how everything comes apart, and they show you how to fill it, and then there's some information down here at the bottom. Let's go ahead and pop this thing open. So, as you saw before, here is the tank itself. Let's go ahead and get a nice clear view of this. All right, so here's the tank. You have right up here at the top the logo, Zephyrus, and this is the drip tip that comes with it. Yes, they were listening. Don't mind this. Doing some wire builds recently. But you can see in here with the drip tip that's included with it, that it's the nice new rifled little stubby little drip tip with two little O-rings holding it in place. Nice, decent wide bore drip tip. And let's see what else we get in this little goodie package here. All right, this is your heatsink adapter. So that's right, they were listening. Remember with the Goliath, people were saying that the heatsink wasn't necessary. But some people like it. And with this, I found that I actually kind of like using the heatsink because it does get pretty warm on these little stubby drip tips. But best thing about it is pop this in. Now you got a little heatsink drip tip. I think that looks pretty darn nice, if I do say so myself. Same thing, it's held on by two O-rings, and you still get the nice wide bore opening. What else do we got here? So we got some extra O-rings. Let's see if I can get this extra glass out. My fingers are all juicy. And get out of there. All right, so what we get in this little glass tank of goodies, get out of there. So you get a separate Pyrex glass tank, which is very convenient because, as you can see, these are a little bit thinner than what are normally used in Youde's tanks, but this tank also holds 5 mils of juice. So you are getting a lot more juice capacity now. So of course, now you got 2. And of course, as you saw, I was digging all this stuff out here. I'll make this easier on myself. Let's just do that. Sorry if that's loud on camera. So now you get all these extra little O-rings. Sort of, you can accessorize your tank. So you got red ones, you got blue ones, and then you got the clear ones. You get a extra little grommet piece here, and you'll see what this is used for when I take the tank apart here real quick. And of course you got another little O-ring here that I'm not exactly sure what that's used for yet, but I just got this thing, so cut me some slack here, people. All right, so there's the tank. You can see the airflow. Look at that airflow. So you have massive airflow. These are 2 mil by 12 millimeters, and they are fully adjustable, so you can close them all the way off, get no airflow, open them all the way up, get full airflow. And then, before I take this thing apart, let's go ahead and look at the bottom here. So you have the Youde logo on top and 2015, no serial number on here. And of course, this just pops right off, and that's your airflow. Okay. Now let's take off the top here and show you how this thing fills up. So yes, now you have top filling tank from Youde. So now you have your top fill, and this little grommet just fits right in there. So you have the 2 holes right there. So you have 1 hole to put your tip of your bottle in and fill it, and then the hole right next to it to allow air to escape, so that way you're not pressurizing into your tank. And of course they gave you 2 of these, and that just pops right back in there. Now let's go ahead and unscrew this. All right, so let's pop that off. You can see here's your O-ring. So here's the blue one, and this, I believe, is all one piece right here. I couldn't unscrew the chimney from the top here. Pull our glass section out, pull our O-ring out, and now let's take a look at this unique coil head, or the OCC head, the organic cotton coil head. Now let's take a look in here. Now I have used this a little bit, so you can see it's still kind of saturated. Get some light on there, but you can see you got dual spaced coils in there, and they use the Kogendo organic Japanese cotton. And cool thing about this head that I haven't really seen with many others is you can kind of see where the airflow is right there directly in the center, but at the base of this head is a ceramic disc. So the ceramic disc was inserted in there to help with flavor, as well as to sort of help it so it's not going to short out if the coils touch for some reason, which they shouldn't. But you can see there, nice healthy amount of organic cotton coil, and those massive holes right there to allow the juice to flow into your cotton. And this is somewhat similar, as you can see, but this is a giant, just a giant coil head. That thing's beastly. And you can see right there where you have your airflow coming right out. So you have plenty of airflow going into this coil head right here. And I haven't tried to take this apart yet. There's really no reason to, considering that this does come with an RTA head as well, which I'll get into in a moment. And then you have your base. Here's your base. And then if you're wondering, is the 510 pin adjustable? Ray, is the 510 pin adjustable? Yes, it is. So let's see. Let me grab my screwdriver here and show you. So it pops out like that, and it pops right back in like that, just like so. Very, very easy. You have your insulator right here. And what I like to do is push it as far up as it'll go. And of course, this piece here makes connection with the post down there. And that's how this thing works. So when you screw it down, it pushes your pin out ever so slightly. And of course, the 510 pin sticks out plenty. So that way, if you are going to use this on a hybrid mechanical device, it's very safe to do so, because that pin is not going to push back up unless this coil head comes unscrewed. So that's the tank in a nutshell. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the rebuildable coil head. So now you have the rebuildable coil head, and yes, as you can see right here, let me zoom in even closer. Oh, I guess I really don't need to. It came into focus. So you have the UD logo and the RBA head right there, and you have four, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 millimeter airflow holes on this RBA head. You have a ton, I mean a ton of airflow coming off of this RBA head here. So here's your cap. This thing just screws right on there. And I left the build on, but I'll take the build off and show you the deck completely. So you have your 4 Phillip head screws there, and you do have the center block design. So let me go ahead. Well, I guess I'll show you here real quick. This is my first build, and I kind of did it with the pancake wicking style, but I am going to try and put a little bit of cotton like this one into the juice channels to see if that makes a difference, because doing it like this, I did get a little bit of flooding, but it could have been this one because this is cut a little short. So probably user error, and it was only flooding when I was filling it. So I'll have to rebuild this again once I pull this out, I guess tomorrow, because it is very late right now. I'll go ahead and redo this. And of course, during the main review of this, when I go into even more detail, I'll show you guys how to build it properly. So let me go ahead and pull these coils off real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. Coils and wick are out. And look at that airflow. You believe that? That is just a ton. Just massive. I don't think there's ever been a tank that has had 4 3 millimeter air holes on the build deck itself. And you do have these nice, fat, generous juice channels. I mean, they used every square inch of this device to drill out and machine this whole thing. And it's just machined so nice. You have the center block design, very similar to how the Goblin is. And you could see they did the same thing where the negatives are actually lower than the positive, which makes building on this much, much easier than if they were all lined up. And of course, your post holes are fairly generous, but of course, with something like this, this isn't the biggest deck in the world here. So this is more than generous to allow you to have 2 strands of 26 gauge. And you don't even need to do that because, of course, you have 4 holes and you're going to make 2 coils. So 26 gauge, you're only going to have 1 strand in each one of those holes. And it fits. You can see the threading here. There's threading all the way around other than where those little juice channels are. And everything just machined ever so nicely. Just a really nice looking RDA deck. Probably one of the best, if not the best looking RDA deck, in my opinion, that's out there right now on all of these new sub tanks. So there you go, you guys. It's all kind of taken apart. I went up close. Now let's go ahead and go back into regular mode, and I'll talk about it ever so slightly, but really I can't give you a full opinion yet because I've only had this for a couple days. So we'll be right back. So there you go, you guys. That was a nice up-close first look at the new Youde Zephyrus Sub Tank / RTA. So, in my opinion, I'm really digging these new sub tanks that are coming out to the market that are hitting on both ends. So if you're a new vapor, or you're just someone that's not, proficient in building, or you just don't have time to build and you don't want to build, they come with these pre-built heads that are just amazing. I mean, considering what we were using just last year, these new tanks are unbelievable. And this is definitely up there with the best of them, in my opinion. But my opinion doesn't count yet because I have only used this for a couple days. So keep that in mind, that I can't give you a full, this is, the best tank out there right now, because I just haven't used it enough. So I want to make sure that I use this plenty before I give you my full opinion. But before I go any further and ramble, since, haven't made a video in a long time, you guys don't know what's going on here, let me go ahead and read some of the specs for you guys so that way you know what's going on. Oh, it's so tiny. Let's see what we got here. So, of course, you saw it is top refilling, which is very, very convenient. Height without the drip tip and the connector is only 45 millimeters, so it is quite small. Take a look at it compared. Now, this is with the drip tip. Let me take the drip tip and the adapter off and just show you. So here is the Goliath compared to the new Zephyrus. The Zephyrus holds 1 mil of juice more than the Goliath. So you do have quite the small little. Oh, I got blurred. You do have quite the small little tank here that holds 5 mils of juice. And you gotta admit, that just looks nice. And if you don't like the heatsink fin, take it off. You don't need to use it. You know, you can go ahead and just use the little stubby one that comes with it, or go ahead and use your favorite drip tip, like mine, the Vapetasia Friction Fit drip tip. Love that thing, and that just looks solid. That's just gorgeous. And you get those extra colored O-rings in there. So like with the iStick 50, the blue one, that just looks great. It's accessorizing. It looks gorgeous, in my opinion. If you have something that's red, it'll go with the red. If you have something that's not those colors, well, then just go with the clear one, and it'll look fine. But let me go ahead and take another hit off of this. I've had zero issues with the coil head that comes with this, the 0.3 ohm pre-built coil head. I've chain vaped it. I've torture tested it. That's what I do when I get these devices. I put them through the ringer and taking multiple hits back to back to back, taking 5-6 second hits at a time at 50 watts, and I've had zero issues with it. I haven't yet taken it over 50 watts, but on the coil head itself, it says to keep it between 20 and 50 watts. I'm sure you could probably go higher, but that's really not my vape. That's not the way I vape. I really don't see a point in going over 50 watts on a tank, but I'm sure you could do it if you want that extremely hot vape. I get a nice warm Flavorful vape off of this at 40 watts, which is normally what I vape it at. You hear that airflow? There is a ton of airflow on this. With the pre-built head, you do get slightly less airflow, of course, compared to that RTA deck, which is just massive. That's the most airflow I've ever seen in a tank. That blows away most rebuildable dripping atomizers, let alone any other tank that's on the market. So it does have that. But I do need to sit there and figure out a better way of wicking it. And like I said, I did have it flood, but I do believe that was probably my own fault. I didn't wick it properly. But, it was my first time. What are you going to do? It's unique. Nothing else is out there like that. So I got to play around with that a little bit longer. But price wise, I've seen them going anywhere from, I think, as low as $24 all the way up to somewhere in like the $34-$35 range. There's a lot of pre-sales going on right now. So, take a look online, see what you can find. If the price is right, and really for what you're getting with this, all the options, this is an option hog. You have that crazy airflow, you get the coil heads, you get the rebuildable dripping atomizer, or the rebuildable tank atomizer on there. You get the two glass tanks, you get all the different colors of O-rings, and another thing I didn't point out in there is one extra screw for the RBA section of this. It probably got lost when I dropped it. Yeah, there it is. It's down there. You get the two extra grommets and stuff like that. So, I don't want to make this any longer than it needs to be, because I'm going to be doing a full review of this in about a week or two. So there you go, you guys. That's the new Youde Zephyrus Sub Tank / RTA. So far, I'm loving it. Hopefully, I'll keep loving it. So, as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And thank you for hanging out and hanging around all this time with me not making any content. I feel real bad about that, but a lot's been going on, a lot of moving and shaking. But I'm getting settled now. This will probably change in a little bit. I'll probably be moving again once I get my own place. This is sort of a stationary, not stationary yet, but temporary right now. And we'll get this all set up, and content's going to be coming out on a more regular basis. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around, hanging out with me. And as always, you guys, vape on.